All right, viewers, this is breaking development coming in. Now, what we know is that the Hamas has named 3 hostages. It plans to release to seal the ceasefire deal with Israel, and now the ceasefire has begun. Meanwhile, Israeli envoy to India has thanked New Delhi for this, for helping out the ceasefire deal. Israeli envoy has released a video message, viewers. Let's take a listen into what he has said.
The ceasefire Israel signed off to is the first phase of a gradual deal which has the potential of bringing back our hostages and also making sure Hamas won't be ever able to massacre Israelis like it did on October 7th. Peace won't prevail if Hamas is allowed to rearm and regroup. The Middle East has changed. The Iranian radical regime still constitutes the biggest threat to our region, but it has lost Lebanon, Syria, and Gaza. With enough international pressure, we can make sure it stops its quest for nuclear weapons. I'd like to thank the Indian government for supporting our right for self-defense, and we especially appreciate the overwhelming support of the Indian people.
And Arela Ashdod, journalist from Israel, joining us on the broadcast. Thank you so much, Ashdod. Of course, it's a big development coming in. Finally, the ceasefire, what we know, has officially started. And the Israeli envoy has also thanked New Delhi for the efforts towards this deal.
Well, yes, of course. I must say that this is a framework that we have reached comes with a very, very heavy price. But the state of Israel has an obligation, a moral one, to do everything it can do to bring all our hostages back, living, of course, and the deceased also. This is parallel to the fact that the government says that it will not give up to all the goals of the war, hence, of course, removing the Hamas from its terrorist regime in Gaza and emanating the threat to the state of Israel, of course, to all the citizens, to the southern parts of Israel that along the years have been ongoing, under ongoing threat of the Hamas. And me living here in Ashdod, the 5th largest city in Israel, we also have been under ongoing bombardment for approximately more than 20 years. So I'm sure that the government, on the one hand, will, as we know, we, the people of Israel, we believe in life. And we will do everything that we have to do in order to bring our hostages back, hopefully living, but of course also the deceased. Even though we are paying a very, very heavy price with lots of prisoners that are going to be released, people that have killed, have slaughtered, have murdered, have raped our people, but this is the price we have to pay.
And Mr. Ashdod, also tell us more about what's really happening, what's going to happen next. There were a lot of delay that even Israel is talking about in this ceasefire to begin, as long as 3 hours. And finally, we see Hamas releasing the names of 3 hostages at least. Of course, there are thousands of them. What is the next step of action that can, actually keep this ceasefire deal tenable?
Well, throughout the war, even before the 7th of October, we know this is a terrorist organization, and they do not have a say, even when they sign on such a framework. Of course, more than nearly 24 hours of delay on passing on the first names of who should be today released. It was supposed to be received yesterday at 4:30 in the evening, and it was only received this morning. So we know that we are obligated to what we have signed, but Hamas is Hamas, and their say is never, they have a double standard. So hopefully everything will be according to what has been agreed in Qatar. And we have, of course, the U.S. that are, and the Qatar and the Egyptian regime that are all together assisting the commitment of the framework. I understand that all the hospitals here in Israel and the hostage family forum, of course, we are waiting for hostages, and the first 3 are supposed to be released in the afternoon, and in a week, another 4 will be released. But, you know, we are in the Middle East and we are not dealing here with a country. We are dealing here with a terrorist organization that has its own schedule and its own commitment and does what it wants. And unfortunately, I'm sure that we, with all the, these allegations, hopefully there isn't civilians that were murdered and taken in consideration on the 7th of October will be brought as soon as we can to Israel.